Hey, everybody, you're listening to the Total Bases Podcast. I'm your host, Felipe, and doing a follow-up to the previous episode where I looked at the top pitchers. Um, and, well, not just top pitchers, but as many pitchers as I could, uh, as I could do here. Um, and, you know, it was mostly Statcast driven. We looked at things like contact rates, swinging tendencies, mostly swing and miss tendencies is what I really look into. And just basically, does pitcher A get a lot of strikes? And and I did mention that I did break up the spreadsheet into two parts. One aspect would be what I'd like to call full-time starting pitchers, and the other aspect being quote unquote part-time starting pitchers. It really is it's really based on batters faced or plate appearances against or plate appearances faced or however you want to call it. I added I added the column for batters faced, and then Statcast gave me a spreadsheet and called it plate appearances. So basically, if uh, if a starting pitcher made the cut on yesterday's, or not yesterday, sorry, on that previous episode where I talked about starting pitchers from a Statcast perspective, those starting pitchers were above 295 plate appearances. Today, we're going to focus on pitchers who were below 295 plate appearances against, or 295 batters faced, or less than 295 batters faced, I should say. And last time we finished with you know pitching velocity and pitching spin rates. That's how we finished our previous episode. And this episode, we're gonna start off with velo and spin rates for these pitches. So it's broken down to three parts. There's the fastball, the breaking balls, and the off-speed pitches. I don't think I mentioned this in the previous episode, but I did not want to deal too much with the tendencies of certain fastballs. For example, four seamers versus two seamers. And I think Statcast includes cutters and fork balls as fastballs as well. Some people would say, "Well, how is that possible? Why is that is?" Like, I don't know. I'm just that's the way it's been explained to me. So, or at least reading through their glossary. It is a website chock full of information. It's hard to capture every single little nuance that's in there, but we'll try our best to kind of dumb it down. And again, it has to be for our purposes, um, fantasy baseball relevant. As much as it's interesting to see it from a real baseball perspective, the object here is to see what we can get out of it and get the inner advantage in fantasy baseball. Breaking pitches, of course, like curveballs, sliders. I think they even include knuckle curves as that as well. And then there's off speed like changeups, and I'm not or maybe knuckleballs, but I mean, those are so rare. And I don't remember what the other pitches were, but again, I did not want to like deal with too many different pitches and how they break and how they go into the vertical axis versus the horizontal axis and how much break do they go against the right-handers versus left-handers. I didn't want to do any of that because I feel like that's a different episode. What I did want is just to get the bare minimum information, whether the pitcher throws cutters exclusively or four seamers or two seamers as their primary pitches. I don't care. I just want to know how fast is their fastball and how much spin do they get on that. And if we need to investigate further, we can. Obviously, you guys are seeing it in front of you. If you're on the YouTube channel, if it's red, that's excellent. If it's a bit of hue of an orange hue or so, that's above average. If it's a little bit of yellow, like this one right here, 83.1 mile per hour breaking pitch velocity from Luis Morales, that's about league average. And then if you go down here, here's a little bit of green, that's below average. That's from Blake Snell. Well, that's the opposite, right? Oops. I guess I must have triggered. Oh, there we go. It keeps doing it. Yeah, I had some issues with this in the previous episode as well, where I would scroll down and then the spreadsheet would open up the uh, the column that I was trying to not share. But anyway, here's a little bit of hue, greenish hue here, slightly below average from Tony Gonsolin and Easton Lucas on their average spin rates on their fastballs. And then if it's blue, like right here, this 2097 RPM average fastball spin from Parker Meshek, that's even worse. And then you get to this bright color blue, like the more you scroll down, like this 1,974, along with an 85.6 mile per hour velocity. So it's a slow fastball, not enough of a spin rate. Who is this pitcher? It's 33-year-old Ryan Yarbrough. So Ryan Yarbrough is going to get a lot of like criticism, I guess, because he appears always on the bottom of these lists. Hmm. Taking my first sip of tea there, but let's get going here. And I get obviously we want all reds, more reds than greens and blues. You know, more bright reds, and if they can't be bright reds, then we want more of that orange hue. Yellow is okay, it's just it's middle of the road kind of thing. But as you can see, that I would say about yeah, the top four is up there. And the other thing I was wanting to, we finished the show last time trying to figure out, okay, which of these pitchers have red and orange across the board, meaning fastball velo, fastball spin rate, and so on and so forth. One, two, three. There's six of these columns. Who has uh, orange and red hues across the board? And so far, here's one right here. Braxton Ashcraft. Braxton Ashcraft, my guy. Let's start. That's a great way to start this. Braxton Ashcraft. That's a guy that I've been uh, kind of singing the praises of and telling folks, hey, watch out for this Braxton Ashcraft guy from the Pirates, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. Don't forget about this guy. And yeah, there he is, Braxton Ashcraft. Uh, he eventually got called up with a little bit of mixed results. I'm on the Fangraphs page on the other screen. Let's see what he did last time. Okay, so 26 games, eight starts. So that's already a red flag that he didn't get a lot of starts. But again, I wasn't looking at game starts. I was just looking for plate appearances. Like how many batters did you face? I mean, and yeah, and if he made some starts, I think the cutoff was 12%. If 12% of his games were starts, he'd make the cut. Otherwise, he would have to go into the relief pitching tabs that you guys see underneath there. But those spreadsheets are not done yet, are not completed. Um, but at any rate, so yeah, maybe those numbers look very good because he was primarily a bullpen arm. So obviously you don't have to build yourself up for stamina. You're just out there trying to build for maximum effort every single time. Regardless though, let me see. Let's see if I can see some of this game log, which that was not the point of this, but now I'm kind of curious. What is when he goes out there, what is the expectation from Braxton Ashcraft, who was being built up as a starting pitcher in the Pirates farm system. And sure, right off the bat, in his starts in September, 3 innings pitch, 3 innings pitch, 4 innings pitch, 3 innings pitch, and then on the 25th of September, 4 and 1/3 innings pitch. And he was pitching like every 5 to 6 days. So that tells me that he must have been piggybacking of somebody else. Or, I see that he did start a few of those games as well. That he would just be expected to throw 3 innings and then get out. Or maybe he just pitched very badly. They just say, all right, get out. We don't want you hurting yourself here. But, you know, uh, yeah, so he did start some, and then for the most part of the season, he was working out of the bullpen. But again, when he was working out of the bullpen in May, June, July, he was expected to throw multiple pitches. So, I see it 2 innings against the Astros on June 4th. Yeah, then a 1 1/3, and then a third of an inning the next couple of games, and then against the Cubs, 2 full innings, and then from there, uh, for the rest of the month of June, 2 innings, 3 innings, 2 2/3. We get to July 4th, 2 1/3, 2 1/3, and then a couple of 2 more innings combined the next couple of outings, so an inning and an outing, and then again July 25th and beyond. Yeah, and then the rest of the year it's just multiple innings. And it's multiple innings, two, three, two, 2 1/3, 3 1/3, 5 full inning. Oh, that's just he started those 2 games. One against the Cubs on August 15th, another one against the Rockies the 22nd. So 5 full innings on those games. Another, and yeah, that was a stretch where he was doing nothing but starting pitching. One, two, three, four, five consecutive games where he was starting pitching. But so yeah, eventually the Pirates started using him exclusively as a starting pitcher. But again, there's a lot of uh uses when he was coming out of the bullpen. They were trying to stretch out his arm, making sure that he was going to pitch multiple innings. So it's hard to tell if the results of these very good pitching makeups, this stuff, the actual stuff, the high velos on his pitches and the high spin rates, if that's more because of the bullpen work that he's been doing, or if he has the potential to keep up with it, as we see from the other pitchers listed here. If you're gonna be good at something, you're gonna have to give up something, like Bubba Chandler, his teammate. Uh, he has red and orange across the board, except here for the RPMs on his breaking ball pitches on average. It's slightly below average, and that's light green color hue there. But everything else is pretty excellent among the quote unquote part-time starting pitchers here. Um, so we're not gonna red flag this Bubba Chandler person or highly touted prospect, and his one deficiency is he can't get a league average spin on his breaking pitches. That's okay. We'll forgive him for that. But yeah, Braxton Ashcraft, I mean, he does have pedigree. I'm not going to deny it. No denying that, I should say. He was the third best prospect for the Pirates, 89th overall, according to Fangraphs. 50-50 fastball, 70-70 slider, 55-55 curveball, 40-45 changeup, 50-55 command. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, those are the prospect grades based on an 80 grade scale of Braxton Ashcraft. So pretty darn good. 50 future value. So yeah, this guy's supposed to be the real deal in terms of what he could potentially be in the future. And it just points out to a guy that at the very worst, he should be a serviceable starting pitcher on any rotation in Major League Baseball. We get to Luis Morales. That's another guy. Well, no, Luis Morales has a little bit of yellowish hue here, but Luis Morales, the thing about this, it doesn't tell you what team that these guys are on when you print it out. But yeah, I figured this guy was the guy from the Athletics. The lucky guess on my part, and sure enough, that's exactly what it is. 23 years old, right-handed pitcher, pretty tall. It's number two overall on the Fangraphs page, 36 overall. I'm sorry, number two in the A's organization, number 36 on their prospect rankings, 50 future value, armed with a 60-70 fastball, 55-60 curveball, 35-55 changeup, and a 30-45 command. So the changeup and the command are a work in progress, but fastball and curveball gives him like a good starting foundation, to say the least. The way Morales, this is the on his Fangraphs page, a quick summary of his prospect pedigree report. The way Morales is built and moves is way different than most other prospects and gives him enormous theoretical ceiling. But to say he's undercooked as a pitching craftsman would be an understatement, because he does look, just based on those prospect pedigrees, he does look like he's a little bit quote unquote undercooked. But let me to check these figures. Yeah, he in the minors, he especially last year at both Double A and Triple A, he did disclose great strikeout potential. Was able to keep his walks in check. So we like to see that. But he was being utilized both as a starter and as a bullpen arm, and he did only make 6 starts at Triple A last year. but most of his career he was being built as a starting pitcher. Like he was going out there every 5 to 6 days for his minor league teams, except when he got to AAA. Not sure if that was because they were trying to limit his pitching count or whatever. But once he got to the big leagues, he posted a 3.14 ERA. Although the ERA peripherals don't like him too much, and the strikeout per nine did drop compared to what he was doing at AAA. Again, growing pains, rookie pitcher, trying to find his footing. But so far, the results, especially from his pitches, are pretty eye-opening and something to look out for. Here's another guy, Ryan Weathers is a guy we've been waiting on forever. He keeps getting hurt. When things are going well, he just, next thing you know, he's hurt with some injury or another. But this is another guy with orange to red hues across all six of these categories. So we like that. Who's another pitcher? We'll do one more. Micah Bell. Oh, yeah, of course, Micah Bell. Yes. Huge strikeout potential, but still has a little bit of command issues. But pitches are they seem to be the real deal. And do we have anybody else as we get down into the trenches here? Not real. Oh, right here. Luis Gill. Oh, yeah. Everybody should know who Luis Gill is. Yeah, they like him a lot in terms of the Statcast figures. Absolutely. Look at that 90.8 mile per hour on his average velo for his off-speed pitches. And I think that's as far as we can go. Here's a two pitch pitcher in Kyle Bradish with the fastball and the breaking pitches all being orange. Well, let me see. Was that orange? Well, maybe not so much on that spin rate. That looks a little bit greenish, yellow greenish right there. So maybe not too much Kyle Bradish. I take it back, but hey, we're gonna see a lot of Kyle Bradish here. Um, so anyway, let's go back to the fastball velocity. Is there any pitcher that we should be uh, showing concerns here in terms of let me adjust this for a little bit in terms of those fastball velocities. I mean, well, I guess I can read out the top 10 just to give you guys listening on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, whatever, Stitcher, whatever you have it. We got Jacob Mizorowski with the fastest average velocity on his fastball at 99.3 miles an hour. And the rest, Bubba Chandler, Chase Burns, Joe Boyle, Shohei Ohtani, Luis Morales, Braxton Ashcraft, Ryan Weathers, Kate Cavalli, and Mecca Bell, Jose Urena. Yes, he's still around and still throws hard and he still gets hit hard. The other 96 mile per hours are Jackson Joby, Roki Sasaki, and Brandon Sproat. So a lot of these guys, they're either established or they were highly regarded prospects. I mean, a lot of these guys we know, and a lot of these guys got hurt already. Like Kate Cavalli is making his way back. I believe he was coming back from either shoulder or Tommy John surgery. Regardless, I mean, we haven't heard from the guy in a long time, and of course, I had to take advantage and pick him up in as many leagues as possible. Kate Cavalli, that is. Micah Bell, I mean, he's been mentioned on this podcast before as someone that you need to look out for. Uh, in your fantasy leagues. Mm. But obviously mixed results there. But when he's striking out like seven, eight, nine batters, up to maybe 10 hitters in one outing, yeah, it's worth keeping an eye on. Is there any concerns here? Well, there's Jose Urena with his fastball velocity, 96 mile per hour, so he still throws like he's in his young 20s. uh, in terms of just keeping up with that velocity I mean, this is a sea of young people here in the top 14 here that you see in front of your screen here. Nothing but youngsters. What is the average for these guys out of curiosity? For guys who are not in their 30s, what is the average age of the top 14 here? 23 and a half years old. But when you involve the 30-year-olds in the top 14, okay, so 24.6. So it adds a year to the mix here. Either way, Jose Urena is not a guy that I'm clamoring for or targeting in leagues next year. Roki Sasaki, yeah, that is a concern. I mean, the Dodgers, made a gave this kid a lot of money, and he would be relegated to the bullpen, and then he would be trusted to come out in late inning situations and with mixed results, I believe. And it might be having to do with the fact that he doesn't really put a lot of spin on those pitches, as you see. A lot of the spin on these now the off speed. See, it just depends what the off speed pitch is, right? I mean, that's pretty low, 492. I wonder if that's the forkball. Let's see. Now I'm kind of curious here. And same thing with Brandon Sproat. His spin rates are not very off the charts. So like nothing's sticking out. It just, if anything, we're kind of concerned that his fastball is below 2000 RPM. Even his breaking pitch has a little bit of slight greenish hue to it. Off-speed pitch seems to be like the only pitch with a good healthy velocity and league average off speed. But for Roki Sasaki, getting back to him, I didn't forget about Roki Sasaki. I'm just loading up his page on the other screen. And what I want to know is what kind of pitches does he throw, right? Because I could just make an educated guess. Oh, it's a splitter. Yeah. Okay, so I guess they must be counting the splitter as an off-speed pitch. Definitely a pitch where you don't want too much spin on it, I guess. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, I guess it's okay if it's a splitter, but the breaking pitch, he throws a slider. Um, what changed? You know, what changed? What changed? What was he maybe trying to protect his arm? Was he like not putting too much stress as a young player, as a young pitcher? Or I don't know, or maybe the Japanese do it differently over there. It's hard to tell. Sproat, that's another guy I gotta find out. Like, why are his, like, he came in, Brandon Sproat, as a huge, highly regarded prospect. And people were clamoring to get him on their teams last year, especially as it got later in spring training. There were rumors that he might get the fifth rotation spot for the Mets. That did not happen, but let's see what went wrong here. Number three prospect for the Mets, 51st overall, according to Fangraphs, 6'3", 215-pounder, 25-year-old. He just turned 25 in September. Too long to read. Too long to read. Prospect summary. Brandon Sproat has been healthy and sitting in the mid to upper 90s for several years, and changes made to his delivery since turning pro have improved his breaking stuff. 60-60 fastball, 50-60 slider, 45-45 curveball, 50-60 changeup, and cutter is at 45-45 and a command of 40-50. This is the total package here. Hmm. That's what we want to see from these prospects. We want to see those big prospect grade numbers. But again, what is going wrong here is the better question. Again, I'm on the other screen. You guys can't see what I'm looking at right now. But what I want to look at is the type of pitches that this guy throws, especially since being when he got called up last year in the majors, and just making sure that we have the proper context here. Brandon Sproat made four starts last season, and he's been utilized as a starting pitcher throughout his minor league career for a great majority of the time since he's been drafted. Then we get to the pitch type and velocity. He has a fastball that goes 96.7 mile per hour. It's a four-seamer. He also couples that with a sinker that goes a mile per hour slower, but still 95.7 miles per hour. A slider that he throws 22.4% of the time at 85.2 miles an hour. Also a curveball that only goes 79.9 miles per hour, but despite the fact it's a pretty healthy 83.1 mile per hour on his total breaking pitches in whole. And yes, he does throw change up at 14.8% at 90.2 miles per hour. You guys see the big fat number there. So maybe that's part but still, the breaking pitches, maybe it's because the curveball is like one of those very slow curveballs. Again, this is more of a like technical pitching scouting aspect of things, which is always interesting. This is yeah, this was not the point of this platform. Just kind of trying to go as fast as I can, trying to describe all these pitchers and all this the stats that they were able to hit last year. But Brandon Sproat is young enough where we kind of want to believe that he can make these adjustments, maybe increase these numbers. And then even Roki Sasaki, we're not going to deny the fact that we're not going to just sit here and call him a fluke or a a red flag pitcher that has shown some fraudulent tendencies or whatnot. But I mean, 23 years old, well, 24, I guess at this point. I guess these were their ages last season that just passed. Like I said, Sproat just turned 25 in September. But still, young 20 somethings who are still trying to learn how to pitch. And that's the thing that we saw in the other spreadsheet with the more established pitchers were that a lot of those guys were up there in age. It was more old guys than young guys. The average, I just did the average like top 20 on the other, what their ages were, the average top 20 pitcher, like in whiff rate and called strikes and things of that nature. Uh, And the top 20 starting pitchers in those like categories was 29 years old. If I were, and we just mentioned that's like, I think it's 26. I mean, I did say top 20, 24.6 actually. Sorry about that. So different demographic. The expectation is for these young pitchers that they're going to show up on this list, and it's all of them are going to be a work in progress. Let's go down a little bit more and see if we find anybody else that we should, any bluish color like here. AJ Smith Shawver, lots of green. AJ Smith Shawver came in with a lot of promise too as a pitching prospect for the Braves, and he just hasn't dominated like we thought he could when he was a Braves prospect. So I'm trying to open up the screen on the other end, but still, he just completed his 22-year-old campaign. He's now 23, so in 2026, he's going to enter his age 26 season. Smith Schauber has big long-term ceiling. He hasn't focused on baseball for very long and still reached Atlanta at age 2021. Despite injuries and changes to his repertoire, once his mechanics click, look out. The Braves' number two prospect, 48th overall, 50 future value, 60-60 fastball, 40-45 slider, 50-50 curveball, 55-60 changeup, and 40-50 command. So I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore those prospect grades. Like you can't help, and some of the production that he has done in the minors, it's very hard to ignore and hope that if you snatch him up on your in your fantasy league that he'll go back to those high strikeout totals. Um, but out of curiosity, it seems to what does he throw? What is that pitching repertoire that they're talking about? And it's a four seamer along with a splitter, right? Is that what it is? Yep, split finger fastball, uh, a slider, and a curveball. So maybe that's the problem. Let's see, Smith Schuster, sorry, Smith Shawver. It is a right-hander, 6'3", 205 pounder, and maybe that's the problem is that he has no pitches to combat left-handed hitters, right? Because there's no changeup to his repertoire. There's no sinker or two-seamer fastballs that go away from left-handed pitch hitters, and just might as well let's take a look at the splits. Is my theory correct that maybe part of his problem is that he doesn't have any like blow away pitches to throw at left-handed hitters? All right, 2025, he faced 108 batters, left-handed batters, and they hit 212. Never mind. Wrong. 26 strikeouts versus 9 walks against lefties, 16 strikeouts versus 12 walks for right-handed hitters. And yeah, right-handed hitters were able to hit him better than left-handed hitters. He also pitched a lot, way, way better at home than he did on the road. But again, when he did struggle on the road, it was mostly because right-handed hitters were able to get to him. So it might be just an issue with let's see here. maybe this is part of the issue right here. Is maybe there's something to it. Again, this will need more research, but I'm just trying to hypothesize here. Is maybe the lack of spin rate is making it super easy for right-handed hitters to hit this guy, AJ Smith-Shawver. Maybe the curveball isn't what I say was a slider or curveball. Let me go back to that page. But I believe, wait, maybe it might have been both. Maybe it was both a slider and a curveball. Yep, slider, curveball, changeup, splitter. Oh, that's Brandon Sproat. Hey, I went back too far. Start over. We take that. Yep, slider, curveball. Okay. Okay, so here's the confusion. He did have a changeup. This is according to Statcast, but see, this is why we got to double check the work because it shows 2023, 2024, he didn't use a splitter, and then suddenly he used a splitter, and then in 2023, 2024, he had a changeup, but in 2025, he didn't use a changeup. Is that how others have it? No, others like Pitch Info have always had it as a splitter, and Sports Info Solutions. Let's see, what's this? Oh, okay. They're aligned with Statcast. That he had a changeup in his first two seasons in Atlanta, and then he switched to a split finger fastball in 2025. Regardless, we're gonna yeah, I it just looks like a guy, AJ Smith-Shawver, that the slider and curveballs don't break enough away from pitchers, and that's my best guess. And maybe he can't. Yeah, again, this requires more in-depth analysis. But I'm just kind of picturing this to see what the problem is, and it's maybe like he struggles to throw his fastballs outside, and is more comfortable throwing that big fastball inside, and right-handed hitters are just able to tee off of them. We keep going down, see if we can. Caden Dana, that's a good example. That's a guy I wanted to talk about. I believe that's the guy from the California Angels, or Jesus, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, uh, or Los Angeles Angels. But no, Caden Dana was a highly regarded prospect for them as well, and that's the theme. All these guys are highly regarded players. He got called up in his age 21 season. He's actually going to turn 21 later this month, so happy early birthday. Number two in the organization, 85th overall prospect, 50 future value, 50-55 fastball, 60-60 slider, 45-50 curveball, 45-55 changeup, 40-45 command. Dana looks like a mid-rotation workhorse with a complete repertoire led by a dynamite slider. A little bit of Chris Bassett, maybe? Is that what it is? That's what it sounds like to me. But yeah, he posted some healthy strikeout totals last year. Still struggles with the walks. That was something that was kind of stunting his growth a little bit. Well, at AAA last season was that his walk rate went way up after showing years of showing control. But again, a lot of that control, a lot of a decrease in walks, occurred with a decrease in strikeouts. So that's a little bit of a red flag. Uh, he posted high ERAs and high peripheral ERAs as well. And so there's a lot of red flags here, but it's kind of hard to deny that the velocity is up there. And again, the rule of thumb is high velocities and high spin rates lead to success, especially when you listen to a guy like Eno Sarris. You hear him say stuff like that, and then you look at these numbers, and it kind of checks out. It checks out that yeah, I mean, he's onto something. That the higher the fastball, the higher the spin rates, the higher the velocities on all these pitches, among breaking pitches, changeups, and if you couple that with high spin rates as well, and you get yourself a really awesome, amazing pitcher. Caden Dana is a fastball cutter, although he didn't use a cutter this past season, but he has in the past. But let's start over. Four seamer, slider, curveball, changeup. So average, prototypical stuff there from the rookie pitcher. But yeah, a little concerning that he isn't able to get a big spin rate, so a little bit of concern there. But hmm. If- if you believe in him and you are looking for a young pitcher, that's the guy to get. I want to just point out Cole Ragans did match orange hue on those velocity and a big fat number on his average spin, well over 2,500 RPM. Same thing with Max Meyer, slightly above 2,500 RPM, but still reddish color on that spin rate. Let's keep going down as we work our way to like the league average velocity pitcher. We're still on the orange hue. And there's Corbin Burns, who we lost him to elbow injury, but when he was around, I mean, he became mostly a cutter a primary cutter pitcher. Regardless, the average spin on those fastball pitches was way up there at 2,600. Maybe that's part of the reason why he got hurt. It's all that spin. We got a couple of guys here, Bradley Blaylock and Kumar Rocker, a little bit of a bluish color there among on that spin rate. So a little bit of concern there. We got two league average guys at 93.5 miles an hour and Gunnar Hoglund and Ryan Feltner, but they have pretty decent spin RPMs on their fastball, so that's a good thing. Look at this Kai Wei Tang. I don't know who that guy is, but I got to look out for him because he is showing some really good fastball breaking pitch and off-speed velos and spin rates here. Landon Knack, that's another guy we were looking at throughout last year. Christian Javier, slowly coming back from elbow surgery, slowly trying to make up for lost time. Those spin rates are very healthy looking. Then we get to the bottom, get to the greenish color. Tyler Wells, low velocity but high spin rate, relatively speaking. And then we see, that's a good one. Shane Bieber. Yeah, I am never doubting Shane Bieber again. I'm never doubting him again, man. It's just if Shane Bieber's available, just grab him. I mean, look at all these figures. Change up spin rate is a little low. Who cares? I mean, it's the guy knows how to pitch. He's still he's the epitome of older being better at pitching, starting pitching. Carlos Carrasco saw a big dip in velocity. Obviously, he's 38 years old, but also the spin rate went down. Justin Steele, when he was healthy, low fastball velo, but high spin rate on that fastball. So that's what we want to see. Bryce Wilson, there's really no redeeming qualities to him. So yeah, no reason to snatch him up. Couple of guys below 90 miles per hour on their fastballs, but there's Marcus Stroman putting lots of spin on those fastballs, and Connor Gillespie as well. That's a good place to stop right there. Let's move on to the breaking pitches. So let's go from highest to lowest. And who has the highest one? Jacob Mezrowski again. Highest velo on that breaking pitch. It's the same guys who were at the top of the list in fastballs are pretty much the same guys at the top of the list in the breaking pitch velos. Little bit of concern from Bubba Chandler, the low spin rate. Same thing with, well, we don't care about Jose Urena. We expect him to be bad. Carson Seymour, high velo on that breaking pitch, but very low, 2046. Little bit of concern there from Carson Seymour. Now, who is this guy? Because like how I played fantasy, like I've gone through so many darn pitchers this past year. For Carson Seymour to kind of go unnoticed by me is driving me crazy. But I can see why he went unnoticed. Big fella though, 6'6", 255 pounds, 26-year-old. He's about to turn 27 soon, later this month. So happy early birthday to him as well. Number 9 pitching prospect for the Giants, 40 plus value, good fastball, good slider. Command is a work in progress. What did he do at AAA in 2025? 15 starts, 10 and a half, I'm sorry, 10.5 strikeout per nine. Walk rate's a little high. And when he got called up, he only made 3 starts. So despite the fact that he only made 3 starts, maybe that's the reason why his everything like in his fastball and stuff looked pretty healthy, but his production was not up to par. When you got a guy with a home run per nine of 2.25, that's really high, especially from a guy who should be pitching most of his games in San Francisco. Strikeout numbers are way low. Walk rate is pretty high still. So yeah, lots of concerns, but there is a little bit of promise. I mean, but maybe this guy should not be a starting pitcher. Maybe he should just stick to the bullpen. But Giants, obviously, out of desperation, had this guy do 3 starts. There's Emmett Sheehan. Yeah, we like him. There's a lot to like here, especially with his breaking pitches and his fastball combination. Uh, Spin rate is not where I wanted it to be, but yeah, you could do a lot worse with an Emmett Sheehan here. Let's move on. See if we notice any patterns. Jack Perkins. Jack Perkins is a guy that showed up a lot on this spreadsheet in terms of the stuff I always look for. So what stuff are you looking for, Felipe? So just can you get a lot of strikeouts? Can you throw for a lot of strikes? Can you induce a lot of swings that result in strikes? Can you blow by hitters? 'Cause I'm not into this pitch to contact nonsense unless you're like Logan Webb and you're able to get a high contact rate and also induce a lot of strikeouts as well. But yeah, I'm not looking for high contact pitchers, especially early on in my drafts. Um, uh, I know people can say, well, you still need those innings eaters, and those guys are great because they are effective. Yeah, they are effective and they are able to go inning to inning. They're innings eaters. They use their defense to their advantage. But balls in play, that's we want to minimize those balls in play at all times as much as we can. And those pitch to contact pitchers are just it's a little too risky for me. A little bit too much self-induced variance on the going to the negative way, and we don't want that. Jack Perkins, number 10 overall with the A's uh, prospect list, 40 plus future value, 55-60 fastball, great slider, 45-50 curveball. So curveball is still a work in progress, but I guess you could say it is pointing in the right direction, arrow pointing up. Changeup is underwhelming. The cutter is it's there, but it's not a plus pitch. And 40-45 to me doesn't say a plus pitch. And 30-40 command is makes it look like command is still in progress. But uh, starting in 2024, he was able to increase the strikeouts to double digits per 9 inning. And then last year at AAA, he went into a 13.9 strikeout per nine against a 4.1 walk per nine. So pretty good. Even when he got called up to the big leagues, 12 games, 4 of them were starts, and was able to put up an 8.61 strikeout per nine. So ERA of 4.19, nothing to brag about, but the expected ERA of 3.68 makes you kind of want to believe that there's something a little bit more to this, that there's something a little bit extra in Jack Perkins. And there's a good chance that, just based on what we're seeing here, that he might get a rotation spot or at least compete for one in spring training next season, I think. At least just based on everything I've seen so far. Because he put up some decent numbers. Now again, he came out of the bullpen more often than not. I mean, he does qualify to be on this list, on this spreadsheet. I mean, we can take a look at his game logs one more, like we did with Braxton Ashcraft, just to see what the workload was like. And he did from August 3rd all the way to August 21st before he required a shoulder treatment. He did make a start in for the most part in the month of August. But before that, when he got called up on June 22nd, 3 innings pitch, 3 innings pitch, 3 innings pitch. That's how his career started in Oakland with being a multiple innings pitcher. And then July 19th, 3 innings, 3 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings, and then he would go into start into the starting rotation, pitching every looks like every 5 to 6 games, every 5 to 6 days, I should say. All right. So if the plan is to get him more work as a starting pitcher, there's something to look for. There's really something interesting to look at from a guy like Jack Perkins. So keep an eye on him next season and see. I mean, the A's just I was wrong about the A's, man. I thought that's a team with no future, but a lot of those prospects from the last couple of years have finally come up big, and they still have a bunch of other guys that are being called up every day. And we're gonna see a lot of A. We already saw a bunch. Luis Morales was already on this list. I think Luis Gil too, right? Wasn't he on the A's last year as well? Or was he still with the Yankees? No, I'm sorry. I stand correct. The Yankees. My bad. Sorry about that. But we're gonna see a lot of ace pitchers here. It, it, it- uh, let's see here. So we said that Gonsolin had a red flag on his fastball because the spin rate wasn't there, but the breaking pitches are orange hues, so that's a good thing. Same thing with Ryan Weathers, all orange hues right there. Shohei Ohtani, Mika Bell, the usual suspects. They have big fastballs, big breaking pitches, and they come at a high velocity and also a high spin rate. And now, as we get closer to league average, we're looking for some red flags like Tobias Myers, decent velo on his breaking pitch, not enough RPM, relatively speaking. Same thing with Ronel Blanco, Nolan McLean. Now, that's a guy I wanted to take a look at too, because yeah, his name's gonna show up a lot. 3,000 RPM on, so that just might be a guy. He's with the Mets. Wait, is that the left-hander? Oh no, no, he's a right-hander. And what did he do? Oh, 8 starts, and he's still throwing 3,000 RPM, 3,051 RPM on his breaking spin rates. That's insane. Is it just curveball? No, that has to be a slider. That has got to be a slider. Let me double check that. Where is that? Where is it? It's like, there it is. He has a fastball that he doesn't utilize a lot this past year, a cutter that he really doesn't utilize a lot. So he's more of a sinker pitcher. So okay, right-handed pitcher trying to throw it away from the lefties. And then he has a slider that he likes to use almost as much as his sinker, a curveball at 15.8%, and a changeup he occasionally uses from time to time. So basically, he's basically a three-pitch pitcher, a sinker, slider, curveball guy. Man, I would love to see the break on that pitch, man. 3,000 spin rate. What does his stuff plus look like in terms of that slider? 108, so that's 8% better than league average. 151 on his curveball, that's 51% better than league average. That's insane. That is crazy stuff plus there. Location is an issue, obviously, young guy, young pitcher. But he's Nolan McLean. I think that's the guy I'm thinking about where he just became like this video game figure for fantasy leaguers. Hmm. Turned 24 back in July, so he'll be 24 for a majority of the year next year. Here's another guy with red, 2,972 RPM on his breaking pitch. Luis Morales again. We just talked about him. All right, so the usual suspects here. There's Corbin Burns and Landon Knack again. We just talked about those guys. Lance McCullers trying to make a comeback. It looks like he's still the fastball velo's down, but everything else is pretty darn good. League average velos on his breaking pitch and changeup, but the spin rate is, I mean, that's why he's been in the league for so long, Lance McCullers. There's Andrew Alvarez, who showed some decent fit percentages on this spreadsheet. And yeah, there's Roki Sasaki. We did talk about him. And let's get going here. Let's get a move on. There's Ben Lively. Don't bother with Ben Lively. Forget that guy. I don't know who this Pearson Ole is, but that doesn't look good from his breaking pitches. Let's quickly move to off speed, and let's do something different here. Let's go from lowest average velo. See if there's any redeeming qualities here. Like right here, Brandon Walter, Ryan Yarbrough. Ryan Yarbrough is the slowest pitcher across the board, it seems like here, but at least he has a high spin rate on his off-speed pitch. Who is Brandon Walter? That name does not sound familiar at all. Might as well look it up. Why? Yeah, again, Walter, nothing off the charts. Maybe the breaking pitch looks good. Oh, Walter's an Astros pitcher, left-handed pitcher. Okay. Who is a command artist. So his stuff may not blow people off the door, but he is a command artist. He did have 9 starts last year. Yeah, command artist, like I said, 0.67 walk per nine rate walk per nine. Less than one walk per nine, basically. And a healthy amount of strikeouts. So yeah, that's a guy we might want to take a look at. But man, it seems like he's might be a pitch to contact pitcher, but I'm intrigued by that changeup number. That off-speed number there. Let's see. What are his pitching types? Yep, he has a changeup. And what does that changeup rank in terms of that stuff plus? Does he even qualify? He does. Where is that changeup? 98. So 2% below league average there. But location plus is 108 and pitching plus is 102. So the guy is crafty lefty as you can get. But we'll see. It is the Astros, so that's this is their MO. Carson Wizenhunt, who has the changeup of a lifetime. We talked about that on this podcast before. I still don't know who Pearson Ole is, but he awful breaking spin on his breaking pitches, but the changeup super slow. Same thing with Carson Wizenhunt, but high spin rate. So where is he from? Oh, the Twins. Okay. Yeah, we stopped giving a damn about the Twins after they traded like half their roster away. Kind of a tall, lanky kind of guy, skinny, 26-year-old. And oh, okay, he only made 3 starts last year, and he's still. All right, forget it. Let's just move on here. We got a lot to talk about, so let's keep it going. Ooh, Logan Henderson is a guy we like a lot. Maybe this is the year that he can put it together. But Logan Henderson, I believe that's the guy from the Brewers, and a lot of us were just kind of getting frustrated with Milwaukee because Henderson would come in, pitch a great ball game, and then get sent out to the minors like a couple of days later, or maybe even immediately afterwards. But Logan Henderson, 1.78 ERA last year, 11.72 strikeout per nine, only 5 starts. I guess he had some elbow issues, but I don't know. It just seemed like he get called up and then he gets sent down immediately, and that was getting frustrating to look at. But yeah, we like Logan Henderson. If he's healthy, yeah, Logan Henderson is a guy that we keep an eye on. Marcus Stroman, what he lacks in velocity, he more than makes up for it in spin rates. So that's good for him. We're moving going from bottom up. Brandon Woodruff still showing that he can pitch in this league. Kyle Hart, I don't trust him, but that's a pretty decent off-speed spin right there. Christian Javier, keep an eye on him for next year, man. We liked him when he was healthy. There might be something to him as he recovers from elbow surgery. Yeah, we talked about Roki Sasaki already. Jackson Joby, Andrew Alvarez. Andrew Alvarez again, what he lacks in fastball is velocity, more than it makes up for it in spin rate. And Andrew, I think he's from the Orioles. Oh no, Nationals. Who am I thinking about? I thought he was with the Orioles. Andrew Alvarez. Was he ever with the Orioles? No, just Nationals all the way. Does not have a prospect grade. 12th rounder, left-handed pitcher. Made 5 starts last year. Did not post a big strikeout number, but didn't the walk per nine was well, it was below 4, I'll give him that much. But ERA and ERA peripherals were somewhat respectable for a guy with such a underwhelming stuff arsenal. Yeah, 87 plus stuff plus according to Eno Saris. But he makes up for it trying to be crafty, just like the other guy we talked about. I already forgot his name. Um, just out of curiosity, what is he throwing out there? Changeup only at 5.3%. Maybe that's why it's so high because he rarely uses it. The spin rate, I mean. But slider, curveball, sinker. Oh, yeah, he's a four-seamer. But yeah, Andrew Alvarez. Okay. The spin rates might be reason enough to maybe keep an eye on him, but yeah, we know what we're getting out of him. There's Blake Snell. There you are. He qualifies to make it on the list here. Kyle Harrison with a good changeup as well. The Giants and their changeups. They love their young pitchers for having changeup. Okay, so this guy, AJ Blue Ball. Blue Ball. Who the hell is this guy? This guy is going to show up everywhere. Of course, the Astros. I should have guessed. When in doubt, it's an Astros pitcher. So we spent a lot of time on these on the pitching makeup of these guys, and 40 plus pitchers AJ Blubaugh, pretty decent, curveball, sliders, fastball. The changeup is a work in progress, but command is an issue. But yet okay, so he mostly pitched out of the bullpen this year, but he did make three starts. Uh, Healthy amount of strikeouts, was able to keep his walk rate low, but that's another guy we gotta make sure that this is not just relevant because he mostly came out of the bullpen, or if it could translate into starting every 5 games. So there's Tyler Wells again, Hurston Waldrep with a really low off speed. I'd love to see that, but I want to move on already. But this Corbin Burns again. Corbin Burns, orange and reds all over. Well, maybe not the average velo on the breaking pitch, but yeah, pretty consistent from Corbin Burns. It's a darn shame that he went down. And that's a good place. Let's move on. Yeah, it's as usual suspects. There's Joe Boyle. I'm pretty sure we'll talk about him. We like to talk about the pull rate and the opposite field rate. Again, what I've noticed is that if the pull rate is low, we want the pull rate to be low and the oppo rate to be high. Cal Bradish has, oh geez, 22.1% pull rate. That is ridiculous. No one's trying to tee off of him. He does have a 52.9 center rate. I mean, you got to hit it somewhere, right? So especially in an era where there's no more shift, that's kind of a little bit concerning, but like, hey, my theory is we want this number to be lower. There's AJ Blueball again, Bubba Chandler, okay, Kyle Harrison, Ben Lively, man, Ben Lively has a healthy pull rate and oppo rate. What is this world coming to? I still don't trust them. But yeah, usual suspects. And then we go to the bottom, and who's bad at this? Who's bad at the pull rate? Easton Lucas, Andrew Alvarez, of course. I know Alvarez for sure doesn't have much of velo. Uh, what else are we looking at here? Nabil Christmet. I have no idea who that is, but I don't want any part of it if this is what the pull and oppo rates are. There's another guy, Hurston Waldrep. Oh, geez. No, let's get me away from him. I don't want any part of that. If that's what the pull rate and oppo rates are. Justin Steele and Anthony Desclafani. Interesting. And Steele was pretty darn effective having this pitching makeup. So I guess as long as it works, that's all that matters. There's Pearson Ole again. Anyway, let's move on to what I really, really wanted to talk about. Not for real, we're going to talk about. It's these swing and miss tendencies. I am enamored with these figures, these swing and miss figures. And again, this is one of those where the higher the number is, the better it is for the pitcher. Uh, 61.3%, Kai Wei Tang. Okay, let's see. What other numbers are here? What other numbers? Zone swing and miss, swing and straight. So this is a lot of the swinging tendencies. I'm gonna have to make this a little bit smaller just to make sure. Yeah, I think we want this to be showing what I'm showing you now. Yeah, we want these swinging tendencies to stay intact. So Kai Wei Teng has a huge outside the strike zone swinging and miss percentage of 61.3%. So he's inducing a lot of swings to the outside, but inside the strike zone, not so much. So what is making this guy so damn good? Giants pitcher, 27-year-old. He just turned 27, so he's 26 this past season. 35 plus future value with a really good well, it has to be the slider then. It has to be the slider. Where's that stuff plus number? What does what does that say about Kai Wei Tang? Stuff plus slider. It is 95. What? The curveball is at 111. So maybe that's part of the secret sauce there from Kai Wei Tang. 7 starts last year. Good strikeout figures, double digit strikeout per nine, but a 5.2 walk per nine. That's a little concerning. ERAs across the board were pretty high. We already talked about that he does have a curveball and fastball, but what else does he have? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, four seamer, the sinker, slider, curveball, changeup. So slider he throws 38.7% of the time. So that would explain why he's inducing a lot of swings outside the strike zone and even getting a lot of swing and miss. But for some odd reason they're not getting they're I didn't put down the all the swing tendencies, but out of curiosity, since we're here, where's that plate discipline on the other screen? Yeah, only 25.4% outside the strike zone swing percentage, which oh, what the hell? It says 27.4 on the screen up there. That's confusing. All right, whatever. I'm gonna go with whatever I have in front of me. Um, 61.2% swinging strike zones, swinging rate inside the strike zone. So a healthy 11.7 for fine swinging strike rate. All right, so it's a slider. Let's face it, it's a slider. He doesn't miss bats inside the strike zone. That's basically what I'm trying to say here. Here's a guy, Chase Burns. We know who that is. The Reds prospect can, the youngster. He'll be 23 next year. For those who don't remember, Chase Burns, number one prospect for the Reds, number six overall across Major League Baseball, 60 future value, 70-70 fastball, 60-70 slider, 50-55 curveball, 40-45 changeup, 30-45 command. So still learning, still progressing, but he did post some really healthy numbers last year. 8 starts, 13 games total, but 13.9 strikeout per nine with a really relatively low 3.3 walk per nine. High ERA, but the peripherals love him. And I look forward to a hell of a second year from this kid, man. This is the real deal. It seems like he established himself, he proved himself in the majors. Stuff plus numbers across the board, all above 100 in terms of the pitching location plus numbers. Stuff plus location plus pitching plus numbers are all above 100. The only thing that's below 100 is the changeup, but that's always the last thing that these young pitchers learn. So yes, Chase Burns, look at all that red, look at all that orange. This guy, all he does is throw strikes and induce a lot of bad swings from hitters. That's what we want to see. Then we get to Hurston Waldrop. Kind of mixed results here for him so far in terms of when we saw his pitches. Doesn't induce a lot of overall swing, 44.7% swing percentage there. Will not get guys to swing outside the strike zone, but there's something about him that makes hitters kind of miss when he does throw inside the strike zone. Who in the world is this Waldrop guy? I don't remember anything about him. Okay, the Braves, okay, yeah, they got a lot of injuries, so they had to use a lot of guys. That makes sense. 23-year-old will be 24 by March 1st, spring training next year. 45 future value. The splitter is his best pitch by far, 70-70. Waldrop's high octane delivery and round down fastball might force him into the bullpen, but his splitter should help him make an impact late inning arm, even if that's the case. He made 9 starts last year, decent amount of strikeouts, 8.8 K per nine, 3.5 walk per nine, low ERA, pretty darn good peripherals. Still learning, work in progress. Okay, maybe this is someone that we should be keeping an eye on. But again, that scouting report has me a little bit concerned that he's going to end up being a bullpen arm rather than a starting pitcher. One, two, three, four, five. But he is equipped with three different types of pitches. Although that four seamer, he doesn't, he kind of got away from using that and went with a cutter. And what is that? The sinker? What is that? Oh, that's a splitter. Oh, that's, well, duh. That's a splitter that we're talking. That's his bread and butter pitch. 32.4% usage. And he does have a sinker and a slider and a changeup. Okay, well, this is an interesting makeup here. A very interesting pitcher. But yeah, still a work in progress. Let's see. Stuff Plus. Oh, yeah, the splitter. Is that what it is? Yep. Well, 125 Stuff Plus for that splitter. And then all hundreds and above in terms of the Stuff Plus, Location Plus, and Pitching Plus, all over 100. So maybe I have it wrong with this guy, although he's very limited. Hey, listen, Kevin Gausman was able to survive on just one pitch, basically a split finger pitcher. Why not this guy, Hurston Waldrep? Okay, I'll remember that name. I won't rank him too high, but just high enough for me to remember that he exists. Obviously, depends if he gets a starting rotation spot for the Braves. All right, let's quickly move down. Who is a guy we're kind of wary of? Joe Boyle. Though Joe Boyle is up on the board on the other screen. Joe Boyle kind of came out of nowhere. Eventually got traded to the Rays. Yeah, some in December of 24. So about a year ago, he got traded to the Rays from Oakland. But 45 future value, good, really good fastball, really good slider, curveball, but he does have command issues. It was worth it for the rebuilding ace to give Boyle every opportunity to start. He graduated from rookie status as a member of the rotation, but he's never thrown enough strikes to realistically project as a starter and should eventually end up in late inning relief. But for the time being, he did start 9 starts for the Rays last year, 10.10 strikeout per nine, very high 4.85 walk per nine ratio. All ERA and ERA peripherals are kind of down on him a little bit. But I mean, his name shows up a lot here, and probably because he, again, was being utilized out of the bullpen, but he still made 9 starts, 13 games, nine of those were starts, so it's not too shabby. It's not like, oh, we got a red flag here. This is a real bullpen guy than a starting pitcher. But what is that? The split finger? Let me try that again. Was it the split finger? Looking at the other screen. Okay, stuff plus split finger, 114. Stuff plus slider, 128. So he doesn't throw a lot of pitches, but the few pitches that he does throw, their stuff is pretty good. Location is a concern though, and just craftiness is just not there. He's a he's a stuff guy first, and then everything else is a work in progress. So yeah, a lot to like here. He did show that he can make hitters foolish inside the strike zone and outside the strike zone. That's a lot to like. On the Rays, not sure if he's gonna be starting, but if he does, definitely a guy we want to keep an eye on. There's Shohei Ohtani. We know who that is. We just talked about Jack Perkins, Caden Dana, Shane Bieber with a really good 53.9 outside the strike zone swing and miss. And just decent, healthy league average numbers across the board here. Spencer Arrighetti, I remember him. Reese Olson, yeah, that'll do. Induced a lot of swings outside the strike zone. That's what we want to see from a guy like Reese Olson. He's not a guy who's gonna blow by pitch hitters down the middle, but it's a lot to like here. Really a lot to like. All right, so we know that these guys. I mean, there's Cole Reagans. It's a damn shame what happened to him. There's Richard Fitz who just got traded. I always forget, where did Fitz go? Was he with the Cardinals last year? No, he's with the Cardinals now because he got traded from Boston. Okay, that makes sense. But Fitz, decent, very good outside the strike zone swing and miss percentage. He induces a lot of swings outside the strike zone. But again, just like everybody else, th he's not blowing by hitters inside the strike zone. What's his velo on that one? Well, we just saw it, but it's kind of 95.9%, well, 95.9 miles an hour. That should be healthy enough for him to just try to blow by hitters inside the strike zone. 101 stuff plus on that fastball. So, although only 98 on that sinker. Interesting. Very interesting. Hmm. What about the rest of his stuff plus? But hey, it has hundreds across the board. Stuff plus, location plus, pitching plus, all above 100. So a lot to like here for Richard Fitz. Not sure where he's going to end up next year in terms of role with the Cardinals. There must be a reason why the Cardinals went out of their way to get this guy. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't just to get him to the bullpen. He made 10 starts last year, 8K per nine, 3.2 walk per nine. ERA was very high. I mean, this guy got lit up, unfortunately. 90.7 exit velocity. Yeah, but hey, I mean, there's some promise here. So if the Cardinals, you'll be pitching in a bigger ballpark, so more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark compared to Boston. So that's something to look forward to. There's Blake Snell, just a man among boys on this leaderboard, but he did not make the cut to be a full-time starter due to injury. So that's why he's on this part-timers list. But he's anything but a part-timer. All right, let's take a look. Is there anybody else? Is there any red flags here? Carlos Carrasco, but we're not looking at draft Carlos Carrasco next year. So we see that Corbin Burns, pretty good, getting guys to swing and miss outside the strike zone. Inside the strike zone, uh, was very low swing and miss inside the zone. But I guess that's the trade-off. If you're gonna be good at getting guys to chase unwillingly, then you sacrifice them not chasing in the middle. Is there a guy who could do both? There's Sawyer Gibson Long, decent outside the strike zone swing and miss. Also pretty decent inside the strike zone swing and miss from Sawyer Gibson Long. I think he's with the Tigers, right? Let's type that baby up. Gibson. Gibson? Yep, Tigers. All right, so there's some league average guys right here for you. Is there anybody that stands out? Cade Cavalli with his 33.9 outside the strike zone swing percentage. So he's inducing the swings and getting people to chase. That's a good thing. Maybe we'll see that number go up a little bit next year. Johan Oviedo. Never know what to make for the guy, and he does have a very low outside the strike zone swing percentage. But look at that, inside the strike zone swing and miss. Yeah, well, you got our attention at 24.1%. Here, down below here, Brandon Walter, we just talked about him. League average swing and miss, but way above average swing percentage outside the strike zone. So again, we want to see guys who induce a lot of swings. And for me personally, I want those outside the strike zone swings to be way up there, like with AJ Smith-Shawver. That's why we can't give up on him too much, despite the stuff not being there. But everything else looks pretty healthy. It looks like he does with what he can, despite the the what was his issue? I forgot what it was already, but either doesn't. Well, I know that guy, a young guy like him, throws really hard, right? So I'm assuming that it was a lack of spin rate. Regardless, there's Logan Henderson. We love Logan Henderson. Yeah, he induces a lot of swings. Ah, Jesus, what happened? So that's what we want to see from these guys. I don't know. I got excited about Logan Henderson that the spreadsheet. I must have been clicking on the wrong thing, and the spreadsheet made me go all the way to the bottom of the list here. Where the hell did he go? And I lost him. Wait, right? We were just talking about shit Smith shower. What the hell? I lost him. Oh, that okay. Oh, okay. I guess they got tired of me talking about Logan. Oh, there he is. He's number 50, pitcher number 54 right here. And again, Nabil Chrismat. I don't know who that guy is. He induced a lot of swings, but with poor results outside the strike zone, I should say. Same thing with Justin Steele. Not swing and miss, but he does. Maybe that's the secret to his success is that he just gets guys to chase outside the strike zone. I mean, that's a skill, right? That's a skill. Christian Javier, low number, but something tells me next year when he's fully healthy, gets a full spring training in, this outside the strike zone swing and miss is going to go way up there. All right, so those are some swing tendencies for you. Um, Brandon Sproat being at the bottom of this list is very alarming, but we just talked about him. Maybe was it lack of spin rate, I believe, was his Achilles heel? Let's double check him. What was it? What the hell did we talk about him? Yeah, lack of spin rate. So lack of spin rate leads to hitters like kind of not to want to swing at any pitches, any junk ball pitches. Although Sprout doesn't have junk ball, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have any spin on it. So, relatively speaking, of course. All right. So those are the swing tendencies. What else do we got here? I forgot what swords stand for, but basically, swords is basically uh, pitchers who make hitters swing at pitches that they don't mean to swing, and it almost looks like a check swing. So in a limited role, limited meaning that he didn't face a 200, he didn't go over 295 plate appearances against. It's Reese Olson at 20. So what was the leader on the other side? Do I still have that on the other screen, on the other tab? What was what did that the Swartz list look like? Out of curiosity. So I know I got to make this a little bit bigger. There it is. Maybe a little bit more. Ooh, that might be too big. Ooh, boy. Oh, yeah, too many frozen, too many frozen columns there. But number at 20 swords, that would have put him, Reese Olson, in the top 60, just barely making the top 60. But had he started more games, had he pitched more games, I think he could have easily, yeah. I want to see a full season of Reese Olson next year. And when I had him on my teams, he was pretty darn good. Then he got hurt late in the year, and that's all they wrote. Yeah, he had a shoulder issue. But Reese Olson's a guy I've been keeping an eye on for like the last 3 or 4 years. And he finally had a little bit of a breakout last year until he got hurt with that shoulder injury. Only made 13 starts, but he was pretty productive last year. The changeup was the big prospect grade. Does that translate into stuff plus? No, it does not. But he knows how to pitch at a young age, 26 years old, or 25 this past season, right? Yep, 25. But it's the usual, promising pitchers like Emmett Sheehan and Jacob Mizorowski. There's Blake Snell, Kumar Rocker, who what he lacks in productivity, he makes up for it in some of the measurable attributes, physical attributes and stuff, measurables like velocity and things of that nature that kind of make you wonder, like, man, if he can just kind of refine his skill set, what kind of pitcher do we have here? Well, in short, we have a guy who can rack up the swords in limited activity. So just making hitters swing at pitches that they don't mean to swing at. There's Cole Reagans, there's Richard Fitz, Kai Wai Tang, Hurston Waldrop, all these guys that we talked about already. So something to look at is the Swartz list right here. All right. So we also talked about swing and miss in total. So among these part-timers, who had the largest amount of swing and miss last year? Emmett Sheehan. There's a reason why we don't give up on Emmett Sheehan. We always look towards the day where Emmett Sheehan can put a full season together. He just needs to get traded to another team, man, because the Dodgers, man, I tell you. Let me take a little quick time out here. Mm, I'm almost done with this can here. There we go. Ugh, a little bitter taste at the end. Jacob Mizorowski, yeah, he kind of struggled in his rookie season, but I mean, there's a lot to like here. 151 swing and miss, part-time duty. Blake Snell, duh, Sean and I. That's why I waited all season long for him to get healthy, so I can get a taste of his 135 swing and misses from last year. There's Reese Olson, Braxton Ashcraft, Kumar Rocker. I'm not sure who Ian Seymour is, but there's Brandon Woodruff, and I'm definitely, I'm gonna go old next year. Not old, but just these guys with their multiply surgically repaired arms, like Shane Bieber and Brandon Woodruff. Yeah, let's chase after those guys next season. Why not? All right, so Ian Seymour, who is that guy? Like I said, he's shown up so many times. Okay, the Rays. I don't remember the Ian Seymour. Who are these guys? Like, this is driving me crazy. Age 25 year last year will be turning 20. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Take it back. Uh, age 26 season this past year will be 27 in just a few days from now. So another happy early birthday for him. 45 future value, 15th overall rank with the Rays last year, but 55 fastball, 50-55 slider, 45-45 curveball, 60-60 changeup, and a 50-50 cutter, 50-50 command. There's a lot to like here, but it always makes me wonder why these guys with these like really solid prospect grades, but they're a 45 future value. He only made five starts last year, though. 19 of the 19 games, only five starts. Uh, Pretty darn good season. But again, the only thing that we care about is can he make that transition, or is the plan for him to transition from bullpen role to starting pitching role? Out of curiosity, what does the race rotation look like at this point of the off season in early December, as of the recording of this podcast? We're going onto the roster resource page, and it's loading on the other screen. And for that, we have Drew Rasmussen, Ryan Pepio, Shane McClanahan, Shane Baz, and Ian Seymour. What happened to Joe Boyle? I wanted Joe Boyle projected to start at a triple A. So Ian Seymour, inside track to be in the rotation next year. That's pretty cool. And there's Yoendrys Gomez. We saw him as well. He's penciled in as the long relief pitcher out of the bullpen for the Rays as well. Interesting stuff. So that's swing and miss. Conversely, even call strikes. I mean, it's the usual suspect. Lance McCullers, old veteran, all reliable. Reese Olson, Mizorowski, Ryan Yarbrough. There's a guy who just keeps getting chance after chance after chance. And there's really no redeeming qualities to this guy, but he just goes out there and produces when he doesn't get lit up. There's Bowden Francis, although that's a little bit of a concern. Maybe we should do that. So, yeah, lots of call strikes, lots of swing and misses, but for Lance McCullers, 50% hard hit rate. Bowden Francis, 52.2% hard hit rate. Max Meyer, we like the makeup of this young pitcher, or not so young anymore. He should be 27 next season. 48.2 hard hit rate. 47.5 hard hit rate for Kumar Rocker, despite the fact that all he did was throw strikes. But my favorite statistic is the whiff rate. I think we're going to finish with maybe somewhere over here. But whiff rate, we just saw the swing and miss tendencies outside the strike zone. But just overall whiff rate, Blake Snell, Cole Reagans, usual suspects, Kyle Bradish. To give you guys an idea, a 34 point, let's call it 34.5. What does a 34.5 whiff rate look like among the full timers? So what number? We said 34.5 or 34.8. Yeah. The leader among the full timers were 33.4%, Dylan Cease. So yeah, the first two guys, Snell and Reagans, we maybe 34% and above, even for Kyle Bradish, might be too much, but it's about right. I think if they played a long season and they are able to pitch, you know, to their full-time counterparts, I think we could have seen these guys be among the league leaders. And if not among the league leaders, I don't know, maybe top 20, 25 around there on the other spreadsheet. But here, they didn't pitch a lot. Maybe they were a lot more fresher. When you don't pitch so much, you don't expose yourself to variance and regression. Either way, this is a good starting point for a lot of these guys like Emmett Sheehan, Shohei Ohtani, Jack Perkins, Ronald Blanco. Yeah, there's some concerns with him throughout this spreadsheet, but can't deny the high whiff rate. Chase Burns, who we really love, Tony Gonsolin, we've been waiting since forever and a day now. Bubba Chandler, again, AJ Bluebaugh, again, mostly a bullpen guy, but let's take a look. If the season were to start today, who is on the starting rotation for the I believe the AJ Blue Ball was at the Nationals, right? Let's see here. Might be on the wrong team. Maybe not. Sorry about that. Where was Blue Ball? The Astros. Okay, yeah, there's no way in no, sorry about that. There's no way in chance that AJ Blue Ball is starting next year. For just out of curiosity, because man, the Astros have a bunch of guys that need to start. And yeah, Blue Ball's not on this list. It's Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Lance McCullers, Jason Alexander, and Ryan Weiss, with Nate Pearson being the long relief guy so far, penciled in. Where is Blue Ball? Check, check, check. Yep, Triple A. Where's Luis Garcia? That's the other question. Where's that at? That's John Garcia. Oh, Luis Garcia's a free agent. That sucks. I'm sure he'll find a good home. But yeah, Christian Javier still with the team though. Anyway, there's Johan Oviedo. Let's take a look at Johan Oviedo right now. I'm starting to like a lot what I'm seeing from these numbers. A low hard hit rate, low barrel rate. He doesn't give hitters a chance to get that sweet spot that they are always looking for. Let's see if I can minimize this. Uh, let's see. There we go. Swing and miss. And let's shorten this right here. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create more space to see if I can get one more column in on the screen for you all to see. So these are pretty big, wide columns I just noticed. So let's rectify that a little bit, make these a little bit smaller. Oh, that's exit velocity, expected WOBA, regular WOBA. All right, we'll just stop right there. A little, you can see the swords a little bit on this side, but we're not. Well, maybe I could get all the both the WOBAs in there. Excellent. All right, so swing and miss, it's still no, I'm sorry, it's still being sorted by whiff rate. And oh yeah, we were gonna look at Johan Oviedo, who I just there he is at number 12. He has a 29.9% whiff rate. What makes him so damn good in terms of missing bats, right? Boston Red Sox, was he part of that trade that sent Richard Fitz? Is that what it was? Let's see. Oh no. No, he was traded from Pittsburgh this year, actually. So separate. So the Red Sox getting busy over there. But Oviedo, we've been kind of waiting on him to show us anything. Decent fastball grade, really good slider grade, really good curveball grade. Changeup and command are a work in progress. Oviedo was present to spot start duty prematurely, and as a rocky start to his big league career, his stuff gives him substantial relief upside. But we don't want him to be a reliever, right? We want to see if he can succeed as a starting pitcher, where he made 9 starts last year for the Pirates and posted a good strikeout total, 9.4 strikeout per nine. Walks were at 5, however. He still posted a low ERA at 3.57, but his peripherals don't like it. The peripheral ERAs do not like it at all. So a little bit of flukiness to this guy's game, a little bit. Don't, but we can't help but see, like, we want to see him succeed because he does have good stuff. What does Eno say about his stuff? 115 stuff plus fastball, 97 stuff plus slider, 95 plus stuff plus sinker, overall stuff plus 102. It's the location and the pitching aspect that knocks him down a little bit. But guys with stuff, man, we can't. I mean, and it shows. These are the results. A really good, really good, really damn good whiff rate, and doesn't and keeps hitters off balance. So, and again, if the Red Sox deem him worthy enough for the rotation, we I understand it's a tougher location to pitch from, but we kind of have to. humor the idea of picking up Johan Oviedo on fantasy teams next year, right? Just based on what we're seeing in front of us. Let's see here. Yeah, long relief guy, and he has to beat out Patrick Sandoval, according to this thing, and Cutter Crawford and Brian Bello. Although I think Bello and Crawford are just gonna stay in the mix there in the rotation. But Oviedo on the outside looking in right now at the moment. But either way, I would love to see him succeed. I mean, this is the stuff that we're always looking for. We want to see this makeup in terms of these percentages, big whiff rates and minuscule hard hit rates. Let's move on here. So we're trying to put a nice little bow on this episode here. There's Joe Boyle again, big whiff rate, but he does get lit up, so that's a little bit concerning. Big 91.1 exit velocity against. Only a 310 exit WOBA though, expected WOBA, which is the weighted on base average based on linear weights. So home runs are better than triples, which are better than doubles, and doubles are better than singles and walks, hit by pitch and things like that. The more bases a base hit gets you, the better the number, right? There's Brandon Woodruff. Like, man, look at this. 27.9 whiff rate, 35.9 minuscule hard hit rate. Gotta love it. Same thing with even Caden Dana. Very good whiff rate, very good hard hit rate against. He does get, they do put the ball in the barrel though. 11.2% barrel rate is a little high. 338 expected WOBA, 365 weighted on base average WOBA. Uh, yeah, so he does get lit up, but there is some promise there, and he's still young enough to kind of rectify all those things. On the opposite end of Brandon Woodruff is Shane Bieber. Whiff rate, really good. Hard hit rate, really bad. Barrel rate, even worse. Exit velocity, ugh. So maybe I'm a little too enamored with Shane Bieber's past season, but yeah, I'm still targeting him, especially late in drafts. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be available. Here's our guy, Logan Henderson. I mean, aside from that the launch angle sweet spot, which it's the number between 8 and 32 degrees. It's such a big number, but he's still, despite the big sweet spot that he gives up on launch angles, he still only gives up 8.6% barrel rate. So we want that number to be below double digits if possible. Either way, only a 32.8% hard hit rate. So there's a lot to like about Logan Henderson. So keep an eye on him. Let's go outside the top 25. There's Kai Wei Tang. And man, we got to look into this guy. We got to look into this guy. Yeah, there's some shortcomings that we've seen so far, but stuff like this is what we want to see. Low hard hit rates keeps hitters off balance and just makes them whiff. And 335 WOBA is pretty high, but a lot of it is flukiness. Expected WOBA only at 309. So there's a lot to and the fact that it's a low expected WOBA from a guy who pitches in San Francisco, who those guys get penalized for pitching in San Francisco as these numbers try to make up for, they don't, well, it's not, that's not fair that he's pitching in a gargantuan ballpark. What if he were pitching in a league average ballpark, or things of that nature, or if some of these balls were hit like a Yankee Stadium, like would he survive Yankee Stadium and ballparks like that, And the expected WOBA suggests that yeah, he would survive any ballpark in America. Apparently, he's so far listed as pitcher number 4 with the Giants. So yeah, he's got my attention. Unfortunately, Max Meyer also has my attention for all the wrong reasons. Again, whiff rate is healthy. He's posting up some good voluminous strikes and swing and misses. But then you get to this side, 48.2% hard hit rate, that 9.2 barrel rate getting a little closer, too close to 10%, 91.9 mile per hour exit velocity. Remember, this guy was everybody's darling at the start of the year last year. David Festa, I remember him. Maybe next 2026 season will be his big breakout year. He already has some experience under his belt, but he did struggle with his command in terms of hitters just being able to tee off of his pitches. But obviously, with the low hard hit rate, it kind of shows as to why he was a highly regarded prospect coming up with the Twins. Another guy that we liked from a couple years ago, not so much last year, Spencer Arrighetti from the Astros, 27.4 whiff rate, whiff rate, sorry, 45.1% hard hit rate, which is pretty high, and a 353 expected WOBA. So, yeah, he induces swings and makes hitters look foolish, but yeah, he gets lit up, unfortunately. AJ Smith-Shawver, we've already talked about him, and again, for everything that we like, every time we see something we like, look at this awfulness. He has some command issues that is resulting in just hitters lighting him up, and we don't want that. Ian Seymour, more of a bullpen guy. We saw that. Sean Manaea, I mean, we know who he is. There's a reason why I was willing to wait the entire year for him to get healthy. Ryan Yarbrough, as much as we like to sit on him and poo-poo his existence, you can't you can't fight the results. Now it all depends what his role is going to be next season, but when he's out there, the guy just knows how to pitch. I'll tip my hat to him. Tip my hat to him. Lack strikeouts, but there's no denying that the guy can hit. Ryan Feltner, I always forget if he's the guy from the Rockies or the Phillies or the Pirates. I don't know. Feltner, where's he at? Which one is he? They all look the same to me. Feltner's Rockies. We don't draft Rockies pitchers, but if we were, Feltner might be a good one. But how was he last year? Only 6 starts last year. Okay. The shoulder inflammation in September. So okay, so he must have been injured the entire year. Whatever. He's a Rockies pitcher, but if we get desperate, late in the draft, we might take a flyer. Is he actually going to start? Let's see. Let's take a look. Is he projected to start? Is he healthy enough to start? These are all questions we need answers for. But at the very least, what does roster resource say about Ryan Feltner rotation chances of getting a rotation spot? SP number 4. Okay, okay, okay. Let's quickly move on. So these other pitchers are pretty good too, although they were mostly bullpen like Braxton Ashcraft. I don't know who Parker Meshik is, but I have a bad feeling that he might have been coming mostly out of the bullpen. But since he's here and there's a lot of numbers that show that he might be worth keeping an eye on. He was a pitcher for the Guardians last year. And what's his story? 25-year-old. He just turned 25 in October, lefty. Kind of on the short side, kind of stocky, 6 foot, 225 pounder. So yeah, he's 6 feet tall, but relatively speaking, he's a little bit smaller than some of his counterparts. Changeup pitcher, good control artist. So Messick is a fiery lefty with plus command on a plus changeup. So usually that means that he's a pitch to contact pitcher. So 7 starts last year, really good strikeout per nine, very minuscule walk per nine. ERA was good. The peripherals look good. We need to keep an eye on this kid. Parker Meshek, eh? Okay. I'll commit that to memory. Man, this guy, 5 pitches, and he uses them all with great variety. But what does Eno say about his stuff? But I have a feeling that a lot of his stuff plus numbers are going to be below average. Yeah, below 100, I should say. I mean, okay, stuff plus slider 100, stuff plus changeup a 101. Overall stuff plus though 96, but this is a crafty lefty. Location and pitching are well above 100, 109 and 106 respectively. So, that's impressive. These are some impressive figures for a crafty lefty like him. And he's listed to be the starting pitcher number 4 for the Guardians. So that's a lot to like there. That's a lot to like. All right, how about some red flags? Yeah, these borderline league average whiff rate guys. Like Mika Bell does get hit hard. Same thing with Rich Fitz, Lance McCullers. We saw that. Nestor Cortez. That's the reason why he got relegated to the bullpen last year. Kumar Rocker. There's a reason why we are just kind of waiting and nothing happens. We already talked about Brandon Walter, Sawyer Gibson Long. Brandon Walter with a very tiny 86.2. So a lot to like here. A lot to like from these part-timers. And we're just trying to figure out like which of these part-timers can take a step in the right direction to get starting pitching status. Okay, I said if I see Nabel Chris Matt show up one more time, we were gonna take a quick look at him. So let's type it up. Nabil Christmas. What kind of name is Nabil? Nabil? I don't know who that guy is. Pretty sure I'm getting yelled at. Padres. Really? Man. Oh, he was with the Diamondbacks last year. Didn't do what is that? Eight games, five starts, a 6.6 strikeout per nine, but only a 2.3 walk per nine. 371 ERA, but oh, the peripherals are nasty looking. Ugh, they're not good. Not good. 89 bomb Robert fastball. All right, so crafty, what was he? Was he left-handed? Right-handed, sorry. Crafty right-handed pitcher, 30-year-old. I just saw it. Yeah, crafty right-handed pitcher, I should say, who's gonna be counting on veteran guile and craftsmanship, and those are always they all can't be Kyle Hendricks, man. For every Kyle Hendricks, you get like 20. I don't know. It's a guy who pitches to a lot of contact, but always gets lit up. Every Rockies pitcher known to man here. Sinker pitcher and sinker and changeup pitcher. The changeup is his big bread and butter. Maybe that's the reason why a lot of these hitters against were not able to get a good hold of Nabil Christmas. Um, it sounds like Merry Christmas. Nabil Christmas pitches. And what's the stuff plus? Jesus Christ. 65 stuff plus on his fastball. 109 location plus though. So yeah, it checks and it would explain why a lot of these hard hit rates and barrel rates are well below are actually pretty damn good. They look good on this figure. But yeah, this is a sample size issue and the fact that he only has a 23.8%, I don't know how much I want to trust a guy like this. And it looks like so is he still with the Diamondbacks? Let me see. What does it say on Fangraphs? Fangraphs has this guy wearing a Padres hat, but he was a Padre at one time in his life. Oh, he's a free agent. Never mind. Never mind. All right, let's move on then. Another low whiff guy, Paul Blackburn, Andrew Alvarez. We know who Paul Blackburn is. That's pretty darn good for Paul Blackburn. Well, now I gotta look it up. Well, what's Paul Blackburn doing these days, right? Oh, there he is. Sorry about that. I forgot to click on his name. Paul Blackburn. Is he a free agent still too? Yeah, free agent. Where was he last year? He was on two teams last year. Which ones? Open it up. Mets and Yankees. Mostly out of the bullpen from the Yankees, so which that might explain why some of his these numbers look pretty good, but let's keep it moving. I'm not interested. Roki Sasaki, not a big whiff, not a hard hit rate is pretty high. Exit velocity is pretty high. Expected WOBA is really high for a guy of his stature. We expected more from him. Same thing with Gunnar Hoagland. I'm kind of disappointed that these were the last figures. Barrel rate at 16.2%. Absolutely not what I want. Hunter Dobbins is an interesting pitcher that keeps showing up. What he lacks in whiff, he just kind of makes up for it in inducing weak contact. Where is he today? Hunter Dobbins. Hunter Dobbins. Oh, with the Red Sox, right. Did did we establish if he's going to be in the rotation or not? Let's see. 26-year-old, huh? 40 plus future value. 11 starts last year, not a lot of strikeouts, but did not give up a lot of walks either. Let's see here. Is he starting? No, he's not. Where is he? Triple A. Okay. Well, keep an eye on him. I mean, you're not gonna get a lot of whiffs, but you'll probably pitch the contact pitcher that keeps pitchers honest and off balance. So Adam Mazer. Do I really care about Adam Mazer? Something tells me we should just to see what he's up, what he does. Oh, Marlins. Sorry, I'm in football mode. I almost call them the Dolphins, but for all intents and purposes, my fantasy football season's over. So um, I probably should ramp up my baseball research now that I don't have to worry about fantasy football too much. Fantasy basketball, I have a championship to defend. The team is off to a great start, but injuries, I have a very injury-riddled team. I don't think Steph Curry got any games this past week. I think he's still at 0 points. I didn't realize he was hurt until it was too late. And then Zion Williamson, well, he's Zion Williamson. We talked about why I had to draft Zion Williamson. Okay, Mazer, nowhere to be found. Oh, yeah, he's in AAA. Okay, and then what did he do? I'm assuming that what, 6 strikeouts per nine? No, 5.7 strikeouts per nine in 6 games, 6 starts last season. Yeah, I don't think so. Come on, no, no, that's no. We need to see more from him. Brandon Young, is he the guy from the Nationals? Let's see here. Brandon Young, Baltimore Orioles. Was I thinking about Jacob Young? Is that who I was thinking about? Doesn't matter. All right, I'm just loading up these pages on the other screen. Brandon Young, 27-year-old, was once the fifth best prospect out of the organization for the Orioles. 45 future value. Big curve. The curveball is the pitch that people were clamoring about. Got 12 starts. Okay, decent amount of strikeouts. Did a good job. Decent amount of good job keeping his walks in check. Big ERA though, 6.24, and no, the peripherals don't like him either. Yeah, but he kept hitters off balance, so that goes to show you that hey, it doesn't matter if you are able to keep hitters off balance with a low hard hit rate. If you can't get these guys to whiff on your pitches, it's moot at this point. It's very moot. What does Eno say about his stuff? It sucks. The location is the one redeeming quality, but again, this is another guy, Brandon Young. I call him a pitch to contact pitcher. I mean, is that really what happened last year? Let's check the plate discipline numbers really quick while I'm on this. While I'm on this page on, sorry, on the Fangraphs page here. Let me, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Uh, 80.1% contact rate. That's pretty damn high. Not interested. Let's keep it moving. But yeah, Landon Knack. Yeah, it's pretty high hard hit rate. Connor Gillespie, 50% hard hit rate. No, we don't want that. Marcus Stroman, yeah, he has big spin rates, but also a big hard hit rate against. We don't want that either. Any redeeming qualities from these bottom feeders down here? Javier Asada, we call him carne asada over here. At least I do. I get hungry. Javier Assad, Mexican national, low hard hit rate, but there's Austin Gomber and Brandon Sproat. The only guy I'm interested in is Brandon Sproat, but only if he shows improvement. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, so what we learn is we want big strikeouts, big swing and miss tendencies. We want low on base percentages, right? Let's see. Who has the lowest on base percentage against from last year among the part-timers? Oh, there's Andrew Alvarez. We talked about him already. Oh, we're at the okay. Logan Henderson, Kyle Bradish, Emma Sheehan, Shohei Ohtani, AJ Blubaugh, Nolan McLean, Brandon Woodruff, and Bubba Chandler. Not sure who this Troy Melton guy is, but he's let's see. Who's this Troy Melton? Did not see him at all. Is he worth talking about? Let's see, Troy Melton. No, not with a 20% strikeout rate. No. But everybody else, I mean, players, I would say ranked number 2 to number 8 on this on-base percentage against list. Also have very good strikeout per nine. If you want to add Bubba Chandler, we can. Um, but yeah, so we want guys who don't get just swing bad, miss bats, induce bad swings, make weak contact. But again, if they don't whiff guys, then the weak contact is kind of moot. And then big strikeout rate numbers as well from Cole Reagans, Kyle Bradish, Chase Burns, the usual suspects, the guys that we want: Logan Henderson, Shohei Ohtani, Brandon Woodruff, Jacob Mrozarowski, Emmett Sheehan, Nolan McLean. Where is McLean actually gonna be? Is he already listed so far on the Mets rotation? He better be. It's a guy that we need to keep an eye on and see if he wins a spot next year. N- Oh, Nolan McLean is the number one guy? All right. I mean, he was the 12th overall prospect last year, according to Fangraphs. Jeez, okay. Just desperate times there for the Mets, but it's okay. I mean, McLean proved himself, so good for him. I just a little wary of counting on a youngster like McLean to be your number one guy, but there's another guy, Sean Manaea. He's listed as the SP number four. David Peterson listed as SP number two. Make it make sense. It's still early, so we're not gonna. But yeah, McLean, Manaea. I mean, that's a decent one-two punch. Bunch, couple of no names, meaning that they're not household names to like the casual fans. But McLean and Manaea, from a hardcore baseball perspective, that's pretty damn good. So yeah, all these big strikeout guys, right? That's what we want. That's the bottom line. And a lot of these guys had good pitching repertoires, good stuff plus repertoires, stuff plus figures. They don't give up too much contact. When they do, it's weak contact. That's good. Lots of swing and miss tendencies. They miss bats. That's the name of the game. Doesn't matter that, oh, well, what's the point of being able to pitch hard and there's no movement? Listen, man, these guys, anybody who says that to you as to what is wrong with today's game and today's pitching, they don't know snack about baseball. It's been proven time and time again. We just saw the numbers. Bigger velocities, bigger spin rates equals that should equal big movement on their pitches, which equals more productivity, more dominance, more missing bats, more weak contact given up, more production, more capability to go inning to inning to inning. It got proven with the full timers. It got proven with this with these part timers here. That's what we got to look for because hey, God bless Kyle Hendricks, but yeah, for for every guy like who wants to be like Kyle Hendricks, like just like oh, this guy just knows how to pitch. Like he's like a Jamie Moyer out there, man. They get lit up, man. They get lit up. It's either your arm gets blown up by a big bomb you're trying to throw it down the middle, or it's like death of a thousand cuts if you're a pitch to contact pitcher. They're just not. We just saw. We didn't mention too many effective pitch to contact pitchers in the last couple of episodes. It was maybe one or two guys, and that should be it. I mean, these guys, these pitch to contact pitchers who are dominant, they should be the exception, not the rule. What, Logan Webb? And Logan Webb has proven himself, and shame on me for not recognizing it earlier, but Logan Webb has proven himself to be sturdy, um, and just eat up innings. And the last year, he posted a shit ton of strikeouts. So even he, like Logan Webb, he's the poster child. He's a guy who knows just how to pitch. He doesn't care about velocity. About he got what was it, 224 strikeouts, and was among the league leaders last season. He actually increased his strikeouts last year, I believe. Let me double check that. Like this is so funny to me. Like everybody, we're in 2025 and people are still clamoring for 1925 baseball. I mean, guys, it ain't happening. Oh man, you give me the guy with the movement. Okay, here's a bunch of guys with the movement, and oh, it turns out that the big movement guys also throw really freaking fast. And everybody's favorite darling is Paul Skeens. No one ever complains about Paul Skeens throwing for high velocities and high spin rates, right? So it's just funny to me. Yeah, Logan Webb, that guy just knows how to pitch, right? He doesn't have the big strikeout numbers. Listen, man, 26.2% strikeout rate. That is the biggest that he has posted since 2021 when he posted 26.5%. The last few years, it's been mostly hovering around 20% strikeout rate. Again, low. That's a pitch to contact profile there. Last year, he says, I'll show you your pitch to contact profile. 26.2% strikeout rate. That's what we want to see each and every single time. What was his contact rate, Logan Webb? Is that a, cause I'm already here. Okay, and we got it. Because Logan Webb just knows how to pitch. He's not afraid to trust his defense and let the guys, the opposing hitters pitch to contact or hit for contact, and it's weak contact. Overall contact rate, Logan Webb has always had a low contact rate below 80%, from 2019 to 2022. Starting in 2023 and 2024, that figure went up to 81%. Pitch to contact pitcher, right? Last year, Logan West said, screw all this. I'm tired of people hitting contact, having high contact rates against me. The number went down to 76.9%. So he's back to his pre-2023 figures in terms of contact rate. If we can please stop this silly narrative that we just need a bunch of Kyle Hendrickses out there, a bunch of Martin Perez's. Who's another good example? Oh, they just know how to pitch. And can we stop comparing every pitch to contact pitcher to Greg Maddux? Greg Maddux, one of the greatest Hall of Fame pitchers of all time, being compared to scrubs, relatively speaking, of course, like Martin Perez, who all that guy does is, force the hitters to pitch into contact and they get out of innings. I mean, we could take a look. I mean, let's take a look at the other screen. Let's take a look at the elite, not the elite, but the starting pitchers that were able to face a lot of hitters last year, right? Do I have any contact? I have zone contact. I don't have overall contact. I guess we'll do outside the strike zone contact rate. Let's do the largest to smallest. Oh, that's a lot of blue. Yeah, there's Kyle Hendricks, of course. He gave up a lot of contact outside the strike zone. 74.6% led the league in this, well, led this spreadsheet here. Um, Oops, let me see. I'm trying to get this to be fixed. Oh, that's not gonna work. So let's go back. No swinging miss ability. He does induce a lot of swings, but that's because hitters are able to make a lot of contacts. Oh my God. And I can only imagine what the 85.2%, that has to be way. Oh no, it's not. Wow, okay. So well, that's because he's pitching outside the strike zone pretty much. Kyle Hendricks wants guys to chase and induce contact that way. So that's why he doesn't lead the league in inside the strike zone contact. Okay, let's go back to outside the strike zone contact, largest to smallest. But you can see the large to smallest outside the strike zone contact rate. Obviously, it's gonna result in very low outside the strike zone swing and miss for obvious reasons, right? But I mean, look at these guys. I mean, Kyle Hendricks, Valente Beloso, Miles Mikolas, Randy Vasquez, Jansen Jungs, Luis Severino, JP Sears, Jose Quintana, Brad Lord, and Andrew Haney. These are all pitchers that we don't want for next year. We don't want any of these guys. Keep going. Chris Paddock, Chad Patrick, Bailey Falter, Tanner Gordon, Eric Fetty, pitch to contact pitch. Not a single one of these guys has any redeeming qualities for next season at all. I mean, unless what are we looking? Okay, so, swing and miss. Chris Paddock, I guess, and Eduardo Rodriguez, and even Rodriguez had a really awful year last season. So I'm just trying to find any redeeming qualities whatsoever on these guys. Anything. Let's see. All right, we'll do swing and miss. Right. Let's shorten this down a little bit. Right. Let's hide some of these tabs. I know that we're going backwards a little bit here, but just trying to prove a point here. I'm just such a silly narrative. I'm just so sick of hearing about it all the time. And it's just like enough is enough, all right? Ooh, we can also do whiff rate. Let's do that. Yeah. So this is being sorted by outside the strike zone contact rate from highest to lowest, right? Still. Yep. So from highest to lowest, is there any redeeming qualities that from these guys? Okay, Chad Patrick from the Brewers, 23.5% whiff rate, 23% from Eduardo Rodriguez. There's Tyler Mahle, but other than that, Chris Bassett, yeah, I trusted him last year. I'm not gonna trust him next year. I can tell you that much. But yeah, these guys who pitch the contact, they get lit up. I mean, Casey Mize is on the higher end of that whiff rate, and he's not a guy that I would deem like this dominant type of pitcher at all. What else? These are high contact rate guys. Justin Verlander, 24.8% whiff rate. Yeah, that's not what he used to do. Nick Pivetta. Okay, there's your one example of a guy with a high contact rate. Yeah, high contact rate, and he's able to post a 24.6 whiff rate. So, okay, there's one guy we trust, but everybody else, it took us what? How many 49 names to get to Nick Pivetta? Is Shota Imanaga. It's a high contact rate guy, 24.6 whiff rate. I could live with that. Where's he ranked? 53. Okay. Uh, Aaron Nola, yeah, that's the guy who knows how to pitch. 20, but he doesn't do a lot of whiff. So even the guys that you would think like, oh well, that's a pitch to contact pitcher. All he does know is how to pitch. He's not a thrower. He's a pitcher. Yeah, even Aaron Nola, as old as he's getting, and his fastball's not as dominant as it used to be, and he throws a bunch of breaking pitches. 25.2% whiff rate. Well, he doesn't count on velocity. Okay, well, he's not going out of his way throwing, for contact, but he's still getting his whiffs. But see, Felipe, you just don't understand the art of pitching, man. Aaron Nola's not a velocity guy, and yeah, that's kind of true. He's not, right? He's not a velocity guy. 90.8 miles per hour fastball, but hey, pretty healthy spin rate on his fastball, pretty healthy spin rate on his breaking pitches. Off speed, maybe not so much, but yeah, still, I mean, yeah, like I said, he lacks in velocity for obvious reason. He's getting older in age. He's pitched a lot of games throughout his life. At one point, he did really have amazing pitching stuff. But the spin rate, again, that's what we're looking for. High spin rate, high velocity. This is what the measurables have proven or in the last since the inception of Statcast. And people are still pretending that none of this matters. Like all this research does not matter. It's all a waste. Um, it's a waste of time, and these pitchers are worse for it. Uh, But if the pitchers don't throw like this, then they're just mediocre pitchers, and they're not gonna they're stay in Major League Baseball. It's not gonna last long. So they have to adjust. And if the numbers say that you got to throw faster and make that ball spin faster as well, then it is what it is. I mean, there's no denying it. And I'm sorry, I was looking at the outside the strike zone swing and miss. Either way, it's slow. These are the low end guys, but still. Let me go back a little bit here. Let's do 55%, right? I want to say that's about league average, right? If we look at some of the 55% guys, again, kind of redundant what we're doing here, but just kind of irks me that every single year we hear about this. So Ryan Berger is the cutoff here at pitcher number 99. Okay. So these are guys who still give up a pretty good amount of contact rate outside the strike zone. Is there any? Okay, Nate Eovaldi. There you go. We found one. But look how much lower his contact rate had to go for us to find a guy who could still post a high whiff. Hunter Brown, Cam Schlittler. I mean, this isn't rocket science, you guys. The keys to success, whether you want to talk about real baseball or this fake baseball game that we play, is right there. I just explained it to you. I just show you the numbers. I just show you the figures. This is the way. This is the maybe that's the way it's always been. But now we have the measurables to tell us that yeah, that theory checks out. We need guys with high velocities and high spin rates to make successful starting pitchers. And on that note, that is the end. Relief pitchers is next. I mean, if you guys didn't like this episode, you're definitely not going to like the other next episode when we talk about relief pitchers because that's just going to prove even more. But we're going to see how much more is that proven. I mean, these relief pitcher numbers, sometimes they just look like video game numbers. Uh, in terms of the strikeouts, the fastball velocities, the spin rates, and the minuscule hard hit rates, the minuscule barrel rates, high strikeout figures, and all that. The swing and misses tendencies are way off the roof. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at that next. And just like we did in this episode, again, we always go long, but we like to provide more info than not enough info. Give you guys all the information you need to get ready for next year's Major League Baseball, fantasy baseball drafts for next season, and just if you're a real baseball fan, you don't care about fantasy baseball. I mean, some of this stuff is pretty darn interesting, and maybe by looking at splitting the starting pitchers into quote unquote full timers and quote unquote part timers, maybe there's a little bit of a glimpse of what is to come for next year. But the name of the game is miss the bats. Why? Because the best pitchers were able to miss the bats. And okay, let's take away Snell, Reagans, and Braders. Those guys are established. Emmett Sheehan still has a chance. Okay, well, maybe not. Let's go. Get away from Sheehan and Shohei Ohtani. Well, maybe Jack Perkins might be a thing. Ronald Blanco, if he can get his control intact, he could be a thing. Chase Burns definitely has all the makeup to be someone to look out for. Same thing with Bubba Chandler. Tony Gonsolin might be healthy, and he might be a thing. AJ Blueball, we must mostly a bullpen guy, but if he ever gets to start again, I look forward to see if he can actually stick around on the rotation and kind of surprise us a little bit. I mean, he's proven that he can post big numbers here. So Oviedo, there's another guy. Is next year gonna be is gonna be like a fork on the road type of situation with Oviedo. Um, and there's Jacob Mazurowski to you know mixed results this past season, but a lot of the stuff that made him a prospect darling in 2025 showed its way. Reese Olson, I mean Ryan Weathers, we've been talking about Joe Boyle. Well, not so much Joe Boyle, but that's another pitcher to keep an eye on. But Ryan Weathers is a guy we've been kind of talking about. There's Nolan McLean, and I'm sorry, Weathers, meaning that we've been talking about him since forever and a day now, since his days with the Padres. He was even a pitcher to look out for. He's always a pitcher to look out for after every single fantasy baseball draft. And then by week one or week two of the fantasy baseball season, who's that name that shows up at the end? And he's being productive in April. And here I am, Felipe, trying to tell you deep sleeper for your leagues. It's Ryan Weathers every single damn year, it seems like. We talk about Nolan McLean. Caden Dana might be the one pitcher for the Angels that they might have under their pocket, to kind of save face. Brandon Woodruff and Shane Bieber are ageless wonders. More Brandon Woodruff than Shane Bieber. Kate Cavalli, don't forget about him. Logan Henderson, Kai White, Max. I mean, come on. I mean, we this is a this is such a promising, impressive list, is what I'm trying to say here. And it's all sorted by whiff rate. The higher the whiff rate, the more interesting the more interesting the names are. Because if you go from lowest whiff rate to highest whiff rate, okay, well, Brandon Sproat, I have we kind of want to see him do well. So we don't think Brandon Sproat belongs here. It was just a rookie jitters or whatever. Call it what you want, but he definitely does not belong here. Austin Gomber, yes. Bradley Blaylock, yes. Glenn Lively, yes. Javier Assad, Bryce Wilson, Justin. Well, not so much Justin Steele or Marcus Stroman, but it's kind of concerning that guys like those two, Justin Steele and Marcus Stroman, their whiff rates are really low. But again, uh, those are two names that well, if you count Brandon Sproat, but Sproat again, that's a rookie thing. But established veterans, Justin Steele, Marcus Stroman, maybe those are guys are the exception of to the rule that maybe whiff rate isn't everything. But even then, Marcus Stroman comes with a 49.6 hard hit rate. And Justin Steele got hurt anyway, severely got hurt anyway. So you know, for all the things that you say, oh, you got to pitch the contact and you can stop throwing so hard and, you got to not be able to insist on missing bats. Okay, well, here's a guy who was pitching a contact, wasn't missing bats, gets hurt anyway. So what difference does it make? Jose Urena doesn't belong here. Kyle Hart. Well, Jose Urena doesn't belong here because he's just such an afterthought. He's just nowhere in our radar. Kyle Hart, definitely not in our radar. Martin Perez, we make fun of him all the time. He has three types of fastballs and they all get lit up. Tobias Myers, Connor Gillespie, we don't want those guys. So we want more guys who are like whiff artists than we want guys that are not whiff artists. That's just the name of the game. Anyway, on that note, my name was Felipe. Looking forward to more of these as I have a little bit of fun with Statcast figures. And again, like I said, the next up is relief pitchers. But until next time, we will see y'all. Keep tuning in, keep listening. I hope this is helpful for everybody. I know, like I said, it's early in the off season. We still are looking for free agent players to get signed already. But it's a good exercise to take in and figure out, what did we miss? That the raw counting stats and the production stats aren't telling us the numbers behind the numbers behind the numbers. And what pitchers to look out for next season based on these Statcast figures. And I think it's pretty clear to see that which pitchers we want for next season and which pitchers we shouldn't be getting for next year. And we look forward to doing the same for relief pitching and hitters as well. So on that note, again, my name is Felipe. This was the Total Basis Podcast. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.